Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So we've been seeing the 4th chapter, the transcendental knowledge, right? So Krishna advised it to the sun god, Ivam Vivasvade Yogan Proktavanava Apyayam. Vivaswan Manuve Praha Manu Iksha Gave Bravit. Right? So Krishna advised sun god Vivaswan 120 million years ago. And then the knowledge was given to Manu to Ikshvaku, and from there the chain was broken. And again Krishna had to come for 5,000 years after that in Dwapara Yuga and give the same knowledge to Arjuna. You're not able to hear Sheila Mataji. It's clear now, Prabhu? It's maximum.
Yes, Mataji, it's clear.
Yes,
Your
Mataji.
voice is clear.
Okay, so let's start. Oh, before I forget, there is Gita Marathon on December 3rd. December 3rd is Gita Jayanti. So it's Gita Marathon. We'll post a link, t.ly marathon, /marathon, that you can order like 5 Gitas in bulk and then please gift it to someone, or you can even sell it. And let's do more of books distribution, because it's very glorious to do in the month of December. It's a marathon month. And since it's Gita Jayanti on December 3rd, please gift Bhagavad Gita to someone. You don't know. Prabhupada's books are like atom bomb. If it is in that shelf, even if it's lying in the shelf, not read by someone, all of them, still someday it will blast. I mean, some of the soul might get delivered because of that one Bhagavad Gita you give. So Prabhupada says not to give it free because that they don't value it. But then if it's a gift, then definitely for someone who values it, you can definitely do it. And those who have not done IDC, in this group, ISKCON Disciple Course. It's a course to take initiation in ISKCON. Sunita Mataji, you should definitely do. Then yes. Who else? All others have done. It's a free course anyway.
I have not done, Mataji.
Sharmila Mataji, yeah, you all should register for.
Even I have not done.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, I have done the course, but still the forms and all, I could not fill it up and send it, Mataji. I have
done. You got the certificate for IDC?
Yes, Mataji. IDC,
got the certificate, then you start apply for shelter and all.
Okay. Mataji, form, you told me to speak to Harshali Mataji. She is also very busy. She came for Yatra, no? Is it available? Can I download and get it, Mataji?
Just WhatsApp me, Mataji. I'll just try to solve it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sheila Mataji, might be something with your network issues. You just try to leave and log in again. Okay. So those who have not done, Suma Mataji, Matri Mataji, Ganeshan Prabhu, and Sharmila Mataji, all of them, please. I'll just remind me, no, Ganeshan Prabhu or Gunashri Mataji, please remind me to post the link. I'll give you the link for IDC. Batch 3 is starting soon. IDC batch 3. It's an ISKCON Disciple Course. It's a worldwide recognized course in ISKCON, where you have to do the course. It's just a 5 days course, 1 hour session every day. And ISKCON Mangalore is offering it for free. All other temples they charge. And this certificate has come from Mayapur Institute, and Namanishta Prabhu is eligible to give the certificate. So it's just to understand Guru Tattva. Why should you take a Guru? Why should you have a Guru? What are the different types of Guru? What is Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru? What are the different types of service you can give? And how is Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, and all that things. So these are basic things which every one of you should do once you join ISKCON, or it's a compulsory thing, the certificate for getting Diksha. So just do the course and keep it with you, the certificate, and later on you can apply for Diksha whenever you're ready. Oh, by the way, I could meet Sharmila Mataji last week in Bangalore.
Yes, Mataji. I was fortunate to meet you.
Very happy to see. It's so happy. Like we see just online since one and a half years, 2 years. We want meeting online and then seeing in person is really a difference. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. So all of you try to come to Bangalore in March, Gaura Purnima. Prabhu might plan a big function in our new temple. Okay, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we'll see about transcendental knowledge, what is going to happen in from 16th sloka. 16th to 24th sloka is understanding karma on a platform of jnana. Okay, how is it related? We'll see from chapter sloka 16 to 24. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayo api atra mohita tatte karma pravakshyami yajnatva mokshase ashupat. What is Krishna saying here? Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action, what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So now Arjuna is having indecision whether to fight or not. What is my real duty? All that. And he's bewildered by his karma. What karma he should do? What is my action? What is inaction? So all this Krishna will start speaking about karma, vikarma, akarma and all that. Karmana hi api bodhavyam bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gadihi. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, that is, and what forbidden action is, what inaction is. So, what is action called as? Action.
Karma.
Karma. Very good. So, action is karma. What is forbidden action?
Karma.
Vikarma. That means which we should not do, or which is not given in the scriptures. That is vikarma. And what is inaction?
Akarma.
Karma means
Devotional service.
very good. Devotional service. That means for which there is no reaction. No reaction. Right? So that is akarma. So we should know the difference. And Krishna explains in the following slokas. So karma means actions which are performed in terms of one's prescribed duties, as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Like scriptures mention the karma of a kshatriya is to fight, to protect the citizens. Brahmanas is to study the Vedas and do charity and all that. And Vaishyas is to do Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijya, and Shudras is to help the others. So these are all given in the scriptures. That is mentioned in the scriptures. That is called karma. Okay. Now, the karma can be two types, no? What are the two types of karma, you know? Inside in the karma itself, there are two things, no?
Good and bad.
Good and bad, that means punya and papa, right? You do punya, so we are already explained that every action has equal and opposite reaction. So karma kandi means what? Karma kandi. Who's called a karma kandi? And a karma yogi. What is the difference?
Karma Kandi is the one who expects fruitive result, Mataji.
Yes.
Karma Yogi is who will dedicate it to Lord Mataji, Lord Krishna.
So through karma, he start associating with Krishna. That is karma yoga. Yes, and karma kandi means who's constantly thinking about the results and he is bound by reactions. Right? There is punarjanma for him. So karma again, punya and papa. That is good karmas and bad karmas. In that, the bad karmas will come in under vikarma. That is action which is performed by misuse of one's freedom, which direct one to the lower life. So do we have some freedom, or are we just dependent completely, or are we independent? We have freedom. How much?
Yes.
What is it called?
Free will. We have free will.
Free will or minute independence, right? Minute. If we misuse that minute independence, then it's called vikarma. So we have the example is a father gives you 10 rupees and tell you to buy some chocolate. He doesn't say which brand to buy. So that is your free will. You have a free choice. You can choose whether Cadbury's or whatever other eclairs or whatever it is, you can choose. So the father gave you some kind of independence, but you can spend only 10 rupees. You don't have 100 rupees. So that means there is a boundary for your independence. Similarly, we have boundary, but then when we have a free will, when we misuse that free will, that misuse of one's freedom. Another example given is, just imagine a cow is tied to a tree. So there's a rope and the cow can go on only to that radius. No, it can't just break the rope and go outside, but still it can move. It's not completely tied. So that's the freedom, the free will. Only Krishna, when tied as Damodar, could go and uproot the Yamalarjuna trees. That is transcendental, no, for Krishna. It is said somebody who's tied cannot deliver others. Definitely, that's why we are called Baddhatmas. Baddha means we had been tied. Just imagine our hands and legs are tied and we are pushed into ocean. Can we deliver others? Somebody who's drowning? No. First, we should be free. So only liberated souls or like spiritual masters or Krishna can deliver us, because they are nitya muktas, the liberated souls. So karma means what is given in the scriptures. Vikarma means what is not given in the scriptures, misusing your one's freedom. And akarma is actions which free you from the cycle of birth and death. No punarjanma, which is that called devotional service. Akarma means devotional service, right? It looks like inaction. No, you're sitting and chanting. And what does your family say? What are you doing for whole day? You're sitting and chanting. You're not doing anything. For them, it's like we are not doing anything. So, but then that is inaction. That's the most intelligent people does it. So law of nature is that for every action that is an opposite reaction. Okay. And then there are different types of people, that is vikarmis, who do not follow the Vedas. Okay, whatever is not given in the scriptures, they go against it, and they risk of being degraded to lower species and not appreciated by saintly people, and they defeat the purpose of life, right? So that is vikarmis. Definitely they go to hellish planets, or they degrade to animal form of life, right? So does anyone know the meaning of mamsa? Mamsa, the
The
meat.
flesh.
Yeah, meat, but then it has a hidden meaning. Yes, Suma Mataji?
Mataji, it is like saying that in the next janma, coming janma, you can eat me. This
Yeah.
janma, I am eating you.
Yeah. So this janma I am eating you. Next janma you can eat me. In the sense, this janma I killed you. Next janma I give you a will. I mean, I give you a ticket to kill me. So that's actually mamsa. Because I mean, before coming to Krishna consciousness, whatever happened, forget it. You know, but then because you're all getting purified. But after coming to Krishna consciousness, we should not repeat the sin. Okay, so this is what it is. Mamsa, okay, means this janma I kill you, next janma you kill me. So this is really bad. But then if non-devout, I mean, if meat eaters hear this, they're going to run off. So we don't try to spread it like that. But then at least we should be really careful of not, because it's not given in the Shastras. And yes, Sheila Mataji, you just leave and then try to rejoin again when you can hear. Might be some issue with your network or audio settings. Okay, then next is karmis. Karmis are someone who is doing, according to the Vedas, they are pious. You know, they are doing the religious things and they attain Swarga. What does they want to do? They want to go to heavenly planets. They want to get the bodies of a demigod, right? That's what they want. Eventually, they return to Matyaloka. But in heavenly planets, you know, somebody can ask, in heavenly planets, there's a lot of nice facilities, but then you forget to do devotional service in heavenly planets because so much opulence is there. Definitely, you forget to do devotional service. And what about akarmis like Narad Muni? They come to the platform of devotional service to Krishna. No fruitive activity binds and means rebirth. So they know that there is rebirth from fruitive activity. So they are doing akarma. Okay, akarma. So that means they're doing their duties at the same time they do akarma also, so that no reaction binds. And how are they doing the duties? How does a devotee does his job or anything? What is it called? I mean, is he attached to the fruits? No. So what is it called?
Transcendental activities, Mataji.
Yeah, that is devotional service. But when a devotee goes for a job or works, and then is it same as a karmi? What is the difference between a devotee working and doing a job and a karmi doing a job?
The platform will be different, Mataji, unlike the materialistic person.
Yes.
He does.
Yes. And Biju Prabhu, what is it?
The karmi, so there is whatever action he does, there is a reaction to it, equivalent. I mean,
yes.
Whereas a karmi is whatever they do, it is what do you call? There is no resultant action,
no
reaction to it.
But what about the work they do? I mean, the job they do for the devotee. Is it same as a karmi?
No, so this is in a karmi, it is for through the God, through the Lord. Whatever they do, it is through the Lord.
So they are doing it for Krishna, or they do something called Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama, they're not attached to the fruits. And as Madhuri Madhuri said, yes, Krishna is in the center. Yes, Suma Madhuri, sacrifice to Vishnu. So Sarvam Krishna Arpanamastu. That's how a devotee does. Whatever job he does and whatever salary he gets, He uses it for Krishna's service. Definitely, no? He buys some fruits, vegetables, cooked and offer to Krishna as bhog, and he buys some agarbattis or something for devotional service, buys a Bhagavad Gita, so or gives to donate in the temple. Whatever he does with that, the karma money which he got, no, he's using it for Krishna service. In that way, no karma will bind him. So they are, even though the devotee looks like a karmi, but he's not actually. He's doing a karma. So you understood the difference. What is vikarma, which is not given in the Shastra, which is forbidden. No, it should not be done. And karma is following the Vedas. They are pious, but they go to heavenly planets. And akarma means doing devotional service and they go to Krishna's world, right? So the vikarmis, they go to hellish planets. Karmis, they go to heavenly planets if they have done good, that attain swarga, pious deeds. Then akarmis, they do devotional service. Okay. Karmani akarmanaya pashet akarmani cha karmaya sabuddhiman manusheshu sayukta Krishna karma krit. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is a transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. This is a little tough to understand, this concept, but it is easy when you try to break these words. Inaction in action, action and inaction. So we'll just have a quick discussion, a 5 minutes discussion, that's it. Just understand what these two terms mean. And when you come back, I'll give you the real answer, but I want to see how much you have understood. Once Yamuna Devi Dasi Mataji, that is Prabhupada's disciple, asked Prabhupada this question. She never asked any question to Prabhupada, but she asked this question. And Prabhupada said, very intelligent question. So what is inaction in action? What is action in inaction? Just discuss and give me some examples also. Okay. Easy question. So just go 5 minutes, okay, breakout room, and then we'll come back. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. So what is the conclusion?
Hare Krishna.
From each room you can discuss. Yes, Prabhu.
Should I go about?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's always tricky, English language. So here also there's no exception when we talk about it. Inaction in action and action in inaction. But whatever we in the group could speak and understand, the first one is, to give you an example, somebody who is like the akarmis, where though you are doing an action, there is no fruitive thing attached to it.
Yes.
The second one, you feel somebody is doing action, but it is in action, like the yogis, or when we were talking about whether Arjuna also falls into that category.
Yeah,
Not
almost
sure.
close. Yes, yes, yes. So the understanding is clear. Yes, Chinna Swamin Ganeshan Prabhu.
Mataji, more or less same. Like action is action in inaction. People who are in akarma mode, who are doing all devotional service, they are doing all these activities for satisfaction of Krishna. So they are doing action in inaction.
Yes.
And same way, if I am a karmi also, if I am doing anything, I keep Krishna in the front. And
Yes.
I do all this as per his direction and also to satisfy Krishna. That is like, inaction in action. There is no reaction.
What is the
to
one
what
word
we
you?
do.
What is the one word you can give? Inaction in action.
Mataji,
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
How you put it in
Mataji.
one word?
Mataji, karma.
Karma.
That is action in action. Now don't get confused. Okay, wait, I will come to it. Fine. So any extra points all have discussed? Any extra points to be added to anyone, for anyone?
Like just an example, the karmis,
Yes.
like they eat food without offering to Krishna.
Yes.
So the devotees they offer food to Krishna and eat. So here in this there is no reaction.
Very good. Yes. So other one is karma free food. Very good.
Karma, yeah.
Yes.
And
So
also
both are doing karma. They both are doing the action, but then for one there is a sinful reaction coming. For the other one, there is karma free. Yes, that's a good thing. That's a good example. Okay. So so is it fine? Okay, so I think almost everyone agree with this. Yes. So these are the two words which is always confusing: inaction in action and action in inaction. Now, so inaction means akarma. I mean, something like based to devotional service, right? Akarma. That is, I mean, it looked like inaction. Okay. Now let's go to this reaction here. So inaction is like nishkama karma, where symptoms of a detached worker. He is doing action. Just take the last word. He is doing action. Like I'm working. I'm doing some jobs, like some work. So I'm doing the action. Okay. But I'm not attached to the fruits. That means I'm doing the activity, but I'm not bound to the reactions. So in one word, you can say it's nishkama karma, right? He's not attached to the work, or he's detached from the fruits of the work. You got it? That is, action is there. There is activity, but there is inaction in it. Inaction in the sense, there is no reaction. It's like akarma. And this akarma have no reaction. So he is working, but he's not attached to the fruits of it. So it is action, but there is inaction in it, right? And action in inaction is Krishna conscious activities. Inaction means akarma. You're doing the japa. You're sweeping the floor of a temple. You're doing cooking bhog, as Mataji said an example. That is Krishna conscious activity. You are doing it for Krishna. So that means there is akarma, but there is activity. Krishna consciousness is not lethargy. It's not retirement. Some people think that I need to go. One devotee told, he was not a devotee. He just said me that I want to join the temple as a brahmachari. So he thought in brahmachari ashram, in temple means eat, sleep, and be merry. No, you get nice prasad, eat, and then you sleep nicely. No, you have to get a Brahma Muhurta, take a bath, get a Mangalarati. There's a lot of service in the temple. No, some are given service in the kitchen, some are given service in the preaching session or in the office, book distribution. So many service. So a brahmachari has to work. I mean, Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is not lethargy or something. It is in action. Whatever he is doing, there is no karma binding him. It's because it's done for Krishna. But there is activity in it. So it is in action, but there is action in it. So that's Krishna. In one word, if you summarize, inaction in action is like nishkama karma, not bound to the fruits. And action in action is like Krishna conscious activities. So it is said that both of, so second one is both, like Krishna conscious activities, right? So there is activity in Krishna consciousness. So just like if we say we love Krishna, but if we're not active for Krishna, what Krishna likes? To chant his holy name, to do devotional service, to hear his harikatha or preach, do book distribution. So there is activity involved in it, right? Yes, impersonalists, yeah, as Nishkama Karmis, I'm not sure. Because impersonalists means they want to merge in the Brahmajyoti. We can't say they're not attached to the fruits. No, Mayavadis, they open hospitals and schools. Why? Because they want money. Right? Mayavadis, they want money. So Namishra Prabhu is giving a nice example. Mayavadis are like, we are all in jail. And Mayavadis are like on the wall of the jail, in the boundary of the jail. They are neither outside free or they neither are inside. So they are, because they are in Brahmananda, there's no service. There's no service for an impersonalist. They don't serve Krishna and they are attached to the fruits. I've seen so many Mayavadis who are attached to the fruits. They open hospitals and school. And Prabhupada says what impersonalists they are. They fall to material existence again. Yasya sarve samarambha kama sankalpa varjidaha jnanagni dagda karmanam tab ahu panditam buddhaha. So what is Krishna saying here? One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burnt up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Okay, so real knowledge is what? Spiritual knowledge, right? Which is eternal. It is eternal. The real knowledge is eternal. Paravidya and aparavidya. What about material knowledge? Once our body is gone, the knowledge is gone, right? And if you are in full knowledge, then you will be devoid of sense gratification. You want to satisfy Krishna's senses rather than satisfying your senses. So Prabhupada mentions a brahmachari, who is really dedicated, can even sleep on the floor of the temple because he doesn't want so much facilities. How was the Goswamis living in Vrindavan? How austere they were? Yes. How you heard about Goswamis? Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami.
They were living under a tree. And
Yeah,
they change every day.
Change every day.
Every
Just
day.
imagine why do they change the trees? Because sometimes they get attached to the tree. Oh, this is my tree. There's a nice shade, and they make some hole in the tree, or might be some hook in the tree, and then hang the java beads, or do something on the tree, and so you become attached to the tree. So what they do, they live under the tree. They don't even have a hut or something. They have a bhajan kutir where they do their bhajan, but then they never had a house as such, a home as such, because they live under in each tree every day. And in Vrindavan, the climate is like extremes, too hot or too cold and all. But they used to just leave and with a simple cloth, and then under each tree every day they change the tree, so that they don't get attached even to the tree. But what are we doing? Even when we reserve a seat in a flight or in a train, we get so attached to that seat, not knowing that we have to get out at any time, right? So Prabhupada says, what is the use of keeping everything so attached to you? Mrityu sarva harasyaha. Mrityu will take everything from us, right? So here, in somebody who's in full knowledge will be devoid of sense gratification. Okay, and there won't be a reaction coming. If you're doing it for Krishna, there is no reaction coming. As Prabhu mentioned, how Arjuna worked. He worked in Krishna consciousness. That's the difference between Arjuna fighting in Kurukshetra war and modern terrorism. So in modern terrorism, what happens? Modern terrorism, there is definitely karma binding because they are doing it for sense gratification. Tyaktva karma phalasangam nityatripto nirashrayaha karmani api pravritto api naiva kishyat karoti saha. Abandoning all attachments to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive actions, although engaged in all kind of undertakings. Okay, so once they know, so it's about pure devotees. Okay, they never perform fruitive action as such, but they are always working. Somebody asked Prabhupada, you're all sitting very simply. I mean, you don't work, and you just simply sitting and then taking donation from people, and you are eating nicely. So Prabhupada looked at them. It was a reporter. So Prabhupada looked at them and said, you are not working 10% of what I am working. We are working 24 hours. It looks like inaction. It looks like inaction for you, but we are actually in activity. Or it looked like for you, it looked like there is no activity happening, but there is action in Krishna consciousness. Action in inaction, right? There is activities in Krishna consciousness. You know that, no? Once you all came to Krishna consciousness, we don't have time only. You have to do your japa, you have to attend class, you have to finish your houseful cooking and everything, and the job and everything. It's like too busy. We don't have time. A devotee for the 24 hours is not enough for the devotee. And for a devotee, they check every moment is used for Krishna service. What is it called? A devotee keep checking.
Avyartha kala.
Yes,
Avyartha
Kalatvam. Yes, Avyartha Kalatvam. Like Srila Prabhupada was like that. At every moment, he was very careful in using Krishna service. Even sleeping is Krishna service. Why? So that you give proper rest to the body. Next day, you can do more devotional service. So that's why even sleeping is or taking rest is also devotional service. Yadricha labda santushto danvito vimatsaraha sama siddhau asiddhau cha vitvapina nivadyate. And that is 22. 21 is Nirashiryada Chittatma Tyakta Sarva Parigraha Shariram Kevalam Karma Kuruvan Napnoti Kilbisham. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, give up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and act only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. Okay, so he doesn't have any possessions. He's called Akinchana. Okay, Krishna is Akinchana Gochara. In the sense, a devotee have possessions, but that's all Krishna's. He's using everything for Krishna service, and he knows this is all Krishna's mercy. These are the Goswamis, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, how they acted. And the next sloka says, he who is satisfied with gain, which comes in its own accord, who is free from duality, does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Although he's doing work, but then he's not entangled by success and failure. That is about a pure devotee. Okay. So these are all different qualities. I'll come the explanation later. Kada sangasya muktasya jnana vastita chetasaha yajnaya charata karma samagram praviliyate. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. It who is not attached to the modes of material nature. In the sense, even Sattvagun comes under the modes of material nature. Shuddha Sattvagun is above the 3 modes, right? So somebody who is in transcendental knowledge, they go to the transcendence. See, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, one of the instructions which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them was write books on Vaishnavism, Vaishnava culture. So Rupa Goswami, what are the 2 books? Famous books, which Rupa Goswami wrote?
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
Very good. And one more?
Instruction.
Nectar of instructions and nectar of devotion. Yes. And Sanatana Goswami have written Brihad Bhagavatamritam and also Hari Bhakti Vilas and all. Very exalted books, Goswami books. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagno Brahmahudam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhinaha. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to the spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered of the same spiritual nature. So if you're fully observed in Krishna consciousness, that's like pure devotees, definitely they go back to Krishna's world. right? Because they are 24 hours in Krishna's service. So working, we can go on one's account. That is called sense gratification. Atmendriya tripti vancha, right? We can satisfy our own senses. That's called calm. And working on God's account, Krishnendriya tripti vancha tarana prem. So we can either work for us, right? How a cashier is, no? A cashier, he receives so many money on behalf of the bank, but then the moment he steals a penny, he's arrested, right? So he is coming under the category that he is temporarily holding it, but then if he just goes somewhere wrong, then he's arrested. What about a soldier killing people in the army? Is awarded Paramveer Chakra. When he kills his neighbor, he's again arrested. But Arjuna's case is different. Arjuna was fighting for Dharma Yuddha on behalf of Krishna. So, and Duryodhan was fighting for his selfish plan. He wanted the kingdom, right? So the fight looks same for us, right? But then, so who is coming for Arjuna and Duryodhan? Who is coming in action, in action? Who's the example?
Arjuna is coming as inaction.
Inaction in action.
Action in inaction. So
Action in action.
Action and inaction.
Yeah. So Arjuna is fighting, but then there is no, as Prabhu said, there is no karma binding him because he's doing for Krishna. Okay, Arjuna is fighting for dharma, is for God. He's doing it for Krishna, right? Why is it said Arjuna is doing for Krishna? Why do I say that Arjuna is fighting for Krishna? Yes, Krishna told, but why? Why do we say so?
he's not doing it for his own senses, Mataji, sense satisfaction.
Yeah, but
Only for
why
the pleasure
Krishna
of
is
God.
telling Arjuna to do it? That's what my
All
question
this,
is.
all these aggressors have to be killed.
Yes, the aggressors have to be killed. So,
That is
It's
Krishna.
Bhakti. Devotion, Mataji, devotional service.
what?
Mataji, to establish dharma, Mataji.
Yes,
the
dharma
upcoming-
establishing and
Varnashrama dharma, Mataji.
Yeah,
Dharma
to
Yuddha.
Performing the
Kshatriya.
duties, Mataji, of a
Yeah, to
Kshatriya.
perform, Kshatriya duty. And what was the plan of Krishna? What was Krishna's plan? Why he wanted all the Kauravas to be killed? That's my question.
Because
Dharma. Huh?
they were adharmis, and this is a Dharma Yuddha.
What, Prabhu?
No, all the Kauravas are in the opposite side. They were adharmis. They were not.
Yeah, that's fine. But why is Krishna telling Arjuna to kill them? What is Krishna's plan?
Krishna already
Dharma-
planned.
One thing is to reduce the burden of earth. Second thing
Yes.
is it is all done in devotion because he wants, he wants
He
Arjuna
only
to
Arjuna
serve
to
him.
be the tool.
Yes, instrument.
Okay, instrument.
He wants to remove the unwanted weeds, Mataji, from
Needs
the.
to be removed. Needs to be removed. And what will happen to Kauravas?
They will also get mukti, Mataji.
They are associates of Krishna and Krishna wants to take
Because
them
they are
back.
killed in-
Also, they get moksha, right? They will get moksha. That's what Krishna is waiting for. What will happen if the Kauravas die in the battle at home? If the Kauravas and all die at home, they'll never get moksha. Krishna's plan was to bring everyone together so that he can give moksha to the whole Kauravas. Now that was Krishna's real plan. Yes, Dharma Samsthapanataya, that and all is there. But yes, they are their associates, right? Jyotilakshmi Mataji got it right. So he wanted to give them liberation. Okay, that's the real point. That's why Krishna is making Arjuna as an instrument and doing this fight. Krishna is creating an atmosphere so that his plan works out. Okay, so this is about the different karmas. So what happens when we are in ignorance? We do sinful life. There is a sin, and then there is material existence happens, right? So happiness cannot be attained without sacrifice, right? So when Brahma was meditating, when he was created, the two syllables he heard was tappa. Brahma also he had to do tapas. No, tabo divyam putra kayena sattam. Rishabhadev says the human form of life is to do tapasya, right, or sacrifice. And without sacrifice, we cannot be happy. So all sacrifice should be performed with the knowledge of the purpose and goal. So next sloka is about sacrifices which we do, attaining jnana through yajna. Yajna means sacrifice. So attaining jnana or knowledge through sacrifice. So Sloka 25 to 29 is about different types of sacrifices. We'll see. Daivam eva pare yajnam yogina pariyupasate brahmagnav apare yajnam yajnenaivopajuvyati. Some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them. Some offer sacrifice in the fire of the supreme Brahman. So what will happen if you worship the demigods? You go to
Demigod
Will
planet.
attain their
they go to their planets, right? You go to the demigod planets. So yeah, Yandi Deva Yata Deva Pitri Yandi Pitri. So Bhudani Yati Bhuteja. So if you worship demigods, definitely go to their planets. So it is said the sacrifice is done, the demigod worship. That is karma yogis, they worship demigods by different sacrifices because they want material happiness, no? And demigods get pleased very easily, right? So those who worship Krishna are called what? And I mean, they are devotees, but and those who worship demigods, what is the difference? Prabhupada used a particular term to describe both of them. Yes, Ganeshan Prabhu.
Worship of demigod is material, still material. Worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is spiritual.
Very good, spiritual, because the result which we get after worshipping Krishna is the spiritual world where there is no more coming back. But demigod worshippers, they get the temporary things. So they are called Alpa Medasa, and Krishna worshippers are called Sumedasa. Krishna Varnam Tisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yajna Sangeetana Praye Yajandihi Sumedasa. Sumedasa means most intelligent. Krishna Bhakta Bada Chatur, it is said. Right? But the demigod worshippers, they are Alpa Medasa because they are asking for temporary things. Right? If you can ask Narayan himself, why are you asking the small things? Lakshmi and all will come along with Narayan. Right? So it said Krishna Bhakta Sai Bada Chatur. Right? So yeah, so worshipping the demigods is with different sacrifices they do. And Brahman worship, the Jnana yogis offer sacrifices into the fire of Brahman. Okay, to please the Brahman. What about the Krishna conscious person like Arjuna? Baba sacrifice everything for the satisfaction of Krishna. Right? All the sacrifices are done for Krishna. Okay, Krishna conscious person also does the same thing. You sacrifice your sleep. A devotee is someone who devotes his time to the Lord. Right? So it's getting winter time now, and it's very nice to sleep under the blanket early morning. Right? Early morning is the time you feel like very sleepy. 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30, you feel like sleeping the most. But a devotee gets up. Now, even in winter, you take a bath, attend Mangalarati, or you try to chant your rounds. So we are sacrificing a sleep there. We are sacrificing our time. No, so many are spending time in so many other ways. But then you sacrifice so many things. You're doing it for whom? Satisfy Krishna, to please Krishna, right? So that is Krishna conscious person he does. Shrotranindrayani samyamadishu jupati shabdatin vishayan anya indriyadishu jupati. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and senses in the fire of mental control, and others, the regulated householders, sacrifice the object of senses in the fire of senses. So there are different ashramas we know: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So even for grihasthas, Prabhupada says, they are also regulated if they could follow the shastras. Okay. And what about brahmacharis? They sacrifice the hearing process and senses in the fire of mental control. So here it's about mind control. It's been spoken in this sloka. So brahmacharis offer senses in the fire of mind control. How? They always worship the Lord, and Savaimana Krishna Padaravandiya. The mind is always at the lotus feet of Krishna. But what about grihasthas? They are also doing sense enjoyment, but it is for Krishna. Okay, what are the two types of grihastha, or griha, somebody living with the family? Two types.
Grihamedi and Grihastha.
Yes, Mataji?
Grihamedi.
What is Grihamedi?
Grihamedi is one who will be in a Grihastha ashrama, but without attachment. He'll be doing everything with the devotional service, every services to please the Lord, Mataji. Without
that is Grihastha ashrama. Grihamedi is opposite, no? You're telling So Grihastha Ashrama is somebody who's sacrificing everything for Krishna and satisfying Krishna, devotees. That is Grihastha Ashrama. And Grihamedi is like sense gratification, just materialistic karmi. Okay, just enjoying with family and no Krishna in the center and not offering anything to Krishna. So sense enjoyment can be done in both the ways. So senses are controlled to what? Senses are controlled to which animal?
Tortoise. Tortoise.
Yeah, tortoise, where the tortoise withdraw the senses, and then when it's needed, it is used. So Krishna conscious person can do the same thing. Okay, in what else? What other animal it is compared to? Tortoise is a nice example. Is Mataji?
Horses.
Horses,
Like,
very good.
control.
Yeah, the chariot, no? The chariot where the horses, the 5 horses are the 5 senses. Very nice. Because the horses, they had to be controlled, otherwise they go wild. Right? Which other sense? Which other animal?
Venomous snakes, Mataji.
Snakes, very good. Yeah. So the senses are also compared to venomous snakes. But for a devotee, also have senses, but the poisonous teeth is taken away. So the senses are there, but it's not poisonous for a devotee. So its senses are compared to a tortoise, it's compared to a snake, it's also compared to the horses. Very nice. So this the senses have to be regulated and it to be used for Krishna's service. And for Prabhupada mentions in the purport, for a brahmachari, they have to do Harer Namanu Kirtana. Not only brahmacharis, any grihastha ashrama. Ashrama means you have Krishna in the center. Grihamedi means Prahlad Maharaj says Grihamanta Kupa. This household, but he's speaking about Grihamedis. Don't think he's speaking about Grihastha Ashrama. Grihastha Ashrama means there is Krishna in the center. Right? Bhavan. Bhavan means what? Bhagavan. Bha for Bhagavan. If we take Bha from Bhavan, it becomes one where animals live. So our Bhavan should be Bhavan. I mean, Bhagavan should be in the center. So Harer Namanu Kirtana means chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. This is the best sacrifice we can ever do in Kali Yuga. Right? Harer Namaiva Kevala. Sarvendriyani karmani, prana karmani chapare, atma samyama yoga, yogagnao jivati jnanati pite. Others who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of mind and senses offer the function of all the senses and of the life breath as oblation into the fire of the controlled mind. Okay, so those who want self-realization, they control the mind and senses. And the best way is, if somebody is a diabetic patient, okay, and the doctor say, don't have sugar, don't have sweets, don't have sweet rice and your favorite sweets. I mean, he tells, don't have gulab jamun, don't have this. Then what will the patient do? Have a temptation to have it more and more, right? Does it cure his disease? No. Does it decreases his temptation? No. Actually, the temptation increases. You can see grandparents and all, the grandchildren, without the parents' knowledge, they give sweets and all to them, and they have a collection because they have so much. So that's not the way to control your senses. Prabhupada mentions it's not like restrict a patient from not having a particular food. Then the patient will have more carving to have it. No, so slowly you try to reduce, or you substitute it with a higher taste. Param drishtani vartante. So controlling the mind and senses can be done if it is offered to Krishna service, right? So self-control has to be done. That is pranavayu or life air is there. So what does Prabhupada says about pranavayu or life air in the sloka? Yes, life breath. What is it? And how do you control, and who controls it? Nice. These topics are a little confusing, but then we finished this. Okay, pranavayu or life air. What does Prabhupada says about it? What is it?
The air which is inhaled and exhaled, Mataji, through pranayam.
Yeah, pranayam. Yeah. So what is pranayam?
To control the inhalation and exhalation both with the frequency. The time gap should be exactly 1:4 something they say.
What, Manji?
When you inhale, how like if you inhale for 3 counts, the exhalation should be minimum double of that.
Yes. So see, Prabhupada mentions here, Okay, so the senses are used for some subjects like ears for hearing, eyes for seeing, nose for smelling, tongue for tasting, hand for touching. Now all of them are engaged in the activities outside the self. They are called the functions of pranavayu. And apanavayu goes upward and downward. Yanavayu acts to shrink and expand. So there are panchavayus, or the 5 airs in our life. Yeah, controlled breathing is called as pranayam. Okay, they control the breathing. Okay, so there are 5 airs which I have already explained. When the soul chapter came now, there are 5 airs in us, and also wherever the 5 airs concentrate, that's the place where the presence of soul is present in the plants and all. So that's Prabhupada mentions about yajna in this different types of yajnas in the next sloka. Dravya yajnas, tapo yajnas, yoga yajnas, tadabare, swadhyaya jnana yajnascha, yathaya samstita brata. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing yoga of eightfold mysticism, and by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. So different type of yajna can be done. So what is studying the Vedas called as? When you have to do self-study of the Vedas. That's what we are doing now. That's also a kind of yajna.
Swadhyaya.
Swadhyaya, very good. So it is said that you need all these S with you. Then sadhu sangha, then swadhyaya, sadhana. All these are very important, right? Swadhyaya means self-study of the scriptures. This is very important. That's also a kind of yajna. That is, you are serving the shastras and sacrificing the possessions. But a devotee doesn't just sacrifice like that. He uses everything in Krishna's service called Yukta Vairagya, and performing severe austerities, right? Taking Ekadashis and getting up with Mangala, Brahma Muhurta. All these are austerities which you can do. And the eightfold mysticism, the yoga is Ashtanga Yoga, right? So why all this is done? So that you advance in transcendental knowledge. So there are different types of yajna. Prabhupada mentions Dravyamaya yajna, that is sacrificing one's possession, like charitable activities. You can do charity, but then when you give charity, no karma should bind you. So you should offer them to Krishna and then give charity. If you're giving food, then offer it to Krishna and give Krishna prasad, right? So that is called Dravyamaya yajna, sacrificing one's possession. Next is Tapomaya yajna, sacrificing the comforts of life, is performing severe austerities. Purposely, we have grains at home, we have all facilities, but purposely, voluntarily accepting inconvenience is called tapasya, tapomaya yajna. Voluntarily you accept, right? Why does some mother takes the toy from the child? So that he can be sent to school for a higher purpose. Similarly, we are sacrificing our sleep and time and all that comforts so that we get a higher taste. So that is called tapomaya yajna. And yoga yajna, or practice of the yoga of eightfold mysticism, that is called the Ashtanga Yoga. Then swadhyaya yajna, this is for us actually. We should do swadhyaya. That means engagement in the sacrifice of studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. That is scriptural study. Actually, it said brahmacharis have to read so many hours. Along with that, even grihasthas, all of us who is in Krishna consciousness, should definitely start having a habit of reading Prabhupada's. Always should have a habit of reading it. So that's called swadhyaya yajna. So why you are advancing transcendental knowledge? Why you want to advance in transcendental knowledge? Why we need all this knowledge? You can just chant Hare Krishna, no?
To help in preaching.
To help?
In preaching to others.
Very good, very good. So that's a nice application, the practical application to preach. Yes.
Jnana Yoga is also one of the steps towards the Bhakti Yoga, Mataji.
Yeah, Jnana Yoga is also one of the thing. Okay, it leads to Bhakti Yoga. Yes, it's a foundation. What about your personal growth?
Our faith will become stronger and stronger.
Yeah, your faith increases and you become fixed in devotional service. That's very important. Now, when you see, yes, Chinnaswamy Ganeshan Prabhu, you want to add something?
Yeah, already other devotees have said.
Yeah, so having faith. Now, when you study the scriptures, your faith to Krishna, you get purified. Very nice. You get purified also. And the faith, and you become fixed in devotional service. In the sense, fixed in devotional service means in case Maya touches you, or in case you fall down, like something happened, something in your life, or something happened that you lost association of devotees and your chanting has come down, or something, you are in Maya, then if you do study the scriptures and try to understand it, then what will happen? It is said that you can come back to devotional service. You won't just fall down, you will get up and come back, and then you have become fixed in devotional service. In the sense, whatever circumstances happen, you will go to devotional service. Your strength increases, your faith increases in Krishna. So that's why Swadhyaya is very, very important. And as Mataji said, preaching, definitely, unless we know the philosophy, Prabhupada was saying, you're distributing my books. Prabhupada says, just distributing my books won't help. You have to read my books before distributing. So that is, again, the Swadhyaya has to be done. Apane jufadi pranam, prane aparnata pare, pranapanagadi rudva, pranayama praparayana, apare niyatahara, pranan praneshu juhvati. Still others who are inclined to the process of breathe, restraints to remain in trance, practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming and incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as sacrifice. So this is about breath control. But then Prabhupada says for a devotee, this has to be. This is not to be done, because this is for Ashtanga yogis, what they do, right? Or the breathing process is controlled. But for a devotee, yes, when you chant Hare Krishna itself, the breathing process is regulated, right? So that's why you should not walk and chant very fast. And when you keep walking, your breathing is increasing. Hardly you will be able to chant your rounds. Okay, if you would like to walk and chant, walk slowly, not like in a hurry and walk. That's it, this side, that's it, this side. And you just complete the rounds. You won't have a quality japa. So that you should understand. The system of yoga is for controlling the breathing process. It's called pranayama, as we already said, right? What are the 8 steps in Ashtanga yoga? Yama,
niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyan, samadhi.
Samadhi, very good. Dhyana and samadhi. So pranayama, breath control has been explained in this chapter. The breathing process of controlling it is called pranayama. Who is that rishi who could control the breathing process and went inside the river to meditate?
Shaunaka Muni, Mataji.
Shaunaka is in Naimisharanya, no?
Almost
close.
Saurabha Muni.
Saurabha
Muni.
Saurabha, yes, right. Saurabha. Okay, almost close and get confused. Yeah, that is Saurabha rishi who went inside the ocean to control his breath. So that's about pranayama. But then what happened? He did pranayama. Then what happened, Prabhu? Ganeshan Prabhu, to him? He went inside the river, ocean, and he controlled his breath and he was meditating. Then what happened to him?
He saw the 2 fish engaging very closely, and then he lost his. And then he also became intoxicated by that, and he came out of his. He fell down. He failed.
Yeah, he fell down.
Yeah.
He fell down, and then after that, what happened? You know?
Then I don't remember the names and all, Mataji. He went to a king, and then he asked for his daughters.
Yeah.
He married all the daughters, I think. I don't exactly remember the story, but to some extent I can. Please add. He asked for the most beautiful, then he has to marry all the daughters, I think so. He married all the daughters, and then ultimately again after some time, then he because of that penance what he has done, he has to again get back to, after completion, then again he gets back to his pious life, and that is that's what what I remember, Mataji.
So that's what happens now. He tried to control his breath. He was doing pranayama. He's such a yogi. But then what happened to him? But on the other hand, see Haridas Thakur. In the middle of the night, he was very young, and Prabhupada says how a prostitute, and later on Maya Devi herself came and tested him, but he never. I mean, that's how a devotee is, a devotional services. And Prabhupada says never try to copy Haridas Thakur. And even Prabhupada says we should not imitate Haridas Thakur, because Haridas Thakur is nobody but Brahma. Somewhere also it's mentioned his Prahalad also has come as Haridas Thakur. I don't know the reference, but then it is said Brahma is Haridastakar and also Prahlad. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is said in the purport, Prabhupada mentions Mamchayo Vyabhicharena Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sakunan Samati Taidan Brahma Puyaya Kalpate. One who engage in the unallowed devotion service to the Lord transcend the mode of material nature and is immediately elevated to the spiritual platform. So, like Haridas Thakur, okay, he didn't have to do pranayama or anything. Just he engaged in devotional service and he could cross all the three modes of material nature. So, I think in Kali Yuga, not I think, it's true in Kali Yuga, all that pranayama and everything is not going to work except devotional service, chanting the holy name. That is what is going to really help us. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Klesho adhikatarastesham abhyakta saptachedasa. All of the process will be very difficult and troublesome. But then devotion services, susukam kartumabhyam. It's very easy to perform. So next sloka 30 to 33, the purpose of sacrifice is mentioned. Why we should do the sacrifice. Okay, so different yajnas we saw, and in that Swadhyaya yajna is the most important. And yajna has to be done to satisfy Vishnu. Sarve apite yajna vido yajnakshavita kalmashaha yajna shishtamrita bunjo yandi brahma sanadanam. All these performers who know the meaning of the sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions. And having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifice, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. So why are we doing all this yajna, sacrifice and everything? So that we get purified from our sinful reactions. And having, we know the nectar of that sacrifice, and then we can go back to Krishna. So our main purpose is to purify ourselves. You know, it's a purification process, what we are doing. Chedo darpana marjanam. Right, so that's very important. All the sacrifices help one to become cleansed of sinful reactions of material existence. Sense gratification is the root cause of material existence. Our desires, no sense gratification. I want to do that. I want to do this. That's why we have all these material things. But finally, what happens? We'll never be satisfied. Now, all of you have experienced how much of a material opulences you have. The more earlier you realize it, the more better. You know, the more. Not like, oh, let me get old and then I get detached. No, it's not going to happen, right? So detachment should come the right moment, because if we are intelligent, we should take all these teachings very seriously. Why do we want to face the human form of life? The common aim of all the sacrifices is to control the senses. Why are we doing the sacrifices? So that the senses are controlled, right? So if we can't control the senses, then what is the use of all the sacrifices? So when we do devotion service, the senses become automatically controlled. Automatically it gets controlled, right? So yeah, sarva upadi vinirmuktam tatparatmena nirmalam rishikena rishikesh sevana bhakti richate. When all our senses are involved in serving Krishna, then two things will happen. Sarva upadi vinirmuktam, we just get detached from all material things, and tatparatmena nirmalam, there is purification. Two things will happen when we do devotional service. Okay, what are the two byproducts of bhakti? Who are the two children of Bhakti?
Jnana and Vairagya.
Very nice. Jnana and Vairagya. Yeah, Prabhu. That's called chewing the chewed. Yeah, chewing the chewed. So already you chewed, and you've seen the cows and all they keep, and again they chew. What is the use? There's no rasa coming out of it. And you see in the sugarcane juice, they first, when you put it between the water, the juice comes. Again and again you put, what is coming? Nothing is coming. So you're chewing the chewed. Again and again you're chewing the chewed. That's material life, definitely. The moment you realize it, then your spiritual life starts. The moment you realize that spiritual life is hopeless. In the moment you realize how much ever I try, I can never be happy in this material world. You might think, if I have a good job, I might be happy. If I have a nice family, I would be happy. Big car, big bungalow, how much ever we do, the material life is like sense gratification is like, again, I want more. But in Krishna consciousness, any small service you do, you're very happy. I'm very happy. So I know devotees who come and do small services in the temple, they are very happy and satisfied, because the happiness you're getting is from the soul. So the real aim is to controlling our senses, right? And like yogis, we can't just control, restrict the senses just like that. But if we use it for Krishna service, automatically the senses become controlled. Nayam loka asti avajnasya kuto anya kuru sattama. Best of Kuru dynasty. Without sacrifice, one can never live happily in this planet or in the next. What in this life? Okay, on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? So sacrifice has to be done. Without sacrifice, nobody could be happy. So yajna is sankirtana prayejanti sumetasa. So sankirtana yajna is prescribed in the scriptures. It has to be done in Kali Yuga. There's no other way, no other goal in life to please Krishna through sankirtana. A life of Krishna consciousness, therefore, the solution of all problems of material existence. Right? So material existence basically have janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, birth with old age disease. It's an Mr. Prabhu say, if during the corona time, if somebody comes and tell you, oh, the whole world was affected, right? Every part of the world, everyone got affected. If you say, I know I didn't get, somehow it has come to all of us. So the whole world. And so if somebody comes and tell you, there is a place where there is no corona, you all will run there, Prabhu say. And there is a place where there is no old age. There is a place where there is no rebirth or disease. So you go, that's spiritual world, right? So the real solution for all our material existence is Krishna conscious life. Because then there is liberation. Evam bahu vidayatnya vidata brahmano mukhe karmatnya yan vidhi tan sarvan evam jnatva vimokshase. All these different types of sacrifices are proved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. So all the sacrifices are mentioned. The yajnas, different yugas. We have Satya Yuga, Treta. Why is meditation not performed in Kali Yuga? Why it cannot be performed? I mean, if there is a rule by the government, everyone should be able to follow it. No, the government doesn't make rules for only such type of people. So meditation is possible to some people, but not everybody can do in this Kali Yuga. Why? Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Arjuna also explains, no, it is very difficult to control the mind. It's easy for me to control Vayu, but it's not so easy for me to control the mind. So in this age, the only way is to do Sankirtana Yajna. That is what has been recommended by Lord Chaitanya Prabhu. So
yeah, he says Chanchalam Himana Krishna, right? Ramadi Balavandridam Tasyaham Nigraham Manye Vayoriva Sudushkaram. So as Prabhu said, Arjuna says it's very difficult to control the mind. So definitely meditation is not possible in this Kali Yuga. Yes, and as Madhuri Mataji and Jyoti Lakshmi Mataji, Suma Mataji said, yes, reduced concentration, reduced lifespan, senses are bewildered, yes, in Kali Yuga. Decreased lifespan. Prayana Alpayusa Satya, it's very less lifespan, and then doing meditation for so many years, and then concentrating, yes, because the mind is very disturbing, right? Why is fire sacrifice cannot be done by everybody in Kali Yuga? Yajna. That is in Treta Yuga they do it.
The products used are not pure.
Yes, Mataji?
The products which we are using, like ghee or whatever,
yeah,
is
pure
not very
ghee
pure.
is not available.
And Brahmanas also may not.
Yeah, the Brahmanas who chant the Vedic mantras. No, those days, the Brahmanas could chant the Vedic mantras, and they even, when the animal sacrifice is done, they even can chant the Vedic mantras so that that soul or that animal could get a human form of life. Such pure and powerful the mantra was. So.
And most of them are karma khandis, Mataji, for their livelihood.
Definitely. They are doing yajna for their satisfaction and to get some sense gratification, not for Krishna, definitely. Right? And Dwapara Yuga also, temple worship is done, but now who can do elaborate temple worship at home? Not possible. So the only way is Harinam Sankirtan. That's the best way to get liberated. So the sacrifice has to be done, which is approved by the Vedas. Kali Santarna Upanishad also says about this Mahamantra. But all of the different kind of sacrifices are recommended for ultimately bringing liberation from the body. This is confirmed by the Lord here by his own mouth. Krishna himself says the sacrifice is done for liberation. Okay. So Krishna gives theoretical knowledge in Bhagavad Gita, but he didn't demonstrate it. He didn't give practical. So that's why he had to come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga, and he gave us that knowledge, how to perform devotional service. Shreyan Dravyama Yadyajnat Jnana Yajna Parantapa Sarvam Karma Kilam Partha Jnane Parishamapyate. O chastise of the enemy. Sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, Sanaprita, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. So again, Krishna is repeating the same thing by saying that perform your work and not get attached to the activities, and all sacrifices it will culminate in transcendental knowledge. So Krishna is advising transcendental knowledge to Arjuna, right? And then the transcendental knowledge is nothing but swadhyaya, what we do. Okay, so yajna culminates in jnana. Why we are doing yajnas? So that the transcendental knowledge is received. So all sacrifice culminates in the transcendental knowledge. Okay, so that's what Arjuna is getting. And how do you receive the transcendental knowledge? What is the process of attaining jnana? Just like that you get? What is the first step?
Pariprashnena sevaya.
Pariprashnena sevaya. Very nice. To whom?
To Guru.
Guru.
Spiritual master.
Spiritual master. Very good. To Guru or a spiritual master. So Krishna is coming to a conclusion, bringing Arjuna, saying that sacrifice has to be done, that has to be done, this has to be done. Why? So that finally you get the spiritual knowledge. And how do you get it? Through a Guru or through a spiritual master. Pariprashnena sevaya. Tatvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadesham dite jnana jnanina tattvadarshinaha. I think this sloka has to be memorized. It's telling about the importance of a Guru. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively, render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Tattvadarshina. So tatvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Three things are here mentioned. Pranipatena. Pranipata means submission. You should not be like you should be humble, not like very proud of something. Pranipatena. Pariprashnena. You should ask questions. Pariprashnena sevaya. You should serve the spiritual master. Then they'll give you the Tattvadarshi or the spiritual knowledge. So we know all the examples how Krishna and Balram went to Santipani Muni's ashram, no? And then to get the spiritual knowledge. Why should Krishna do that? Swayam Bhagavan, right? Does anyone know how many days he was there in Santipani Muni's ashram?
64 days.
Yeah, 64 days, and he was learning 64 arts. One day dance, one day music. For us, dance itself or music will take so many years to learn the foundation sarigama itself, right? But for Krishna, one day everything was learned. He is the supreme, and Vedanta Veda Videvacha. He is the one who knows all the Vedas and everything, full of knowledge. But when he came in human form, he's showing by example. And who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's guru?
Ishwarpuri.
Yes?
Ishwarpuri Mataji.
Ishwarpuri or Madhavendrapuri?
Ishwarapuri.
And who is Ishwarapuri's guru?
Madhavendrapuri.
Yeah, Madhavendrapuri. So good. So yes, so even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us, for example, that a guru is needed, right? So a spiritual master has to be there. So Arjuna have selected Krishna as the spiritual master. Why do we say the appearance of spiritual masters as Vyasa Puja? Why do we call it Vyasa Puja? Does anyone know? We say Vyasa Puja of the gurus. Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. It's mentioned, no? Why?
Vyasji gave us the knowledge of the Vedic scriptures, Mataji. Similarly,
yes.
we learn it from our Tadvidi Pranipatana. As we said, we learn from our gurus. So they are,
so
at heart.
They represent Vyasadev, right? You're right. So Vyasadev actually, Krishna, Dvaipayana and Vyas have compiled all these Vedas and given us all the scriptures. Now, the guru or spiritual master is representing Vyasadev in the parampara. Okay, representing Vyasadev. So it's called as
Puja.
So he's called as Vyasa Puja. It's called Vyasa Puja. And when we sit in the temple to give class, that's called Vyasasana. That means Vyasadev we are representing Vyasadev, and who sits in the Vyasasana represents Vyasadev. That means in the parampara to give the knowledge. Okay. So Guru is called a bona fide spiritual master. Why is he called bona fide? What is the meaning of bona fide?
Approved.
He comes in the
because of the
parampara,
disciplic succession, they are approved.
Yes. So he comes in a disciplic succession or in a parampara. He's been approved. Right? He has a guru, and it comes to Krishna. So it has to be guru, has to be a bona fide spiritual master. And the three things mentioned here is surrender, inquire, and service. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. You have to surrender, you have to inquire, the Brahma Jijnasa, or the right questions have to be asked, and service, right? Vapu Seva, Vani Seva, two service has to be done. Unless there is submission and service, inquiry from a learned special master will not be effective. So we have to submissively. So Krishna is giving a clue to Arjuna that this is how you should be, right? Submissive and ask questions. So from next slokas, next chapters, Arjuna is going to ask nice questions to Krishna, and Krishna is going to reveal his mind. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So today is just the topic was about yajna, and then how inaction and action is, and how Krishna explains it. Hare Krishna. So any questions? So those who like to join the IDC, please wait for we'll post the link in the group. WhatsApp link, so you can join that. Ganesh and Prabhu, please remind me of Ganesh Mataji. Attendance is taken, no?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Yes, Hare Krishna. So after the 4th chapter, next session we'll complete 4 chapters. After the 4 chapters, we'll have one more open book assessment. So next week, it's just few more slokas. It's only till 42. So we have only some 8 slokas left. Next week, can we solve all the closed book questions of the 4 chapters in the class? That would be better. How do you feel? Because you should get ready for a closed book exam after 6 chapters. So do you want to solve, not everything, might be some difficult questions we can take and we can discuss the closed book questions. Because if you're not ready, Prabhu's like, you should be ready for the Bhakti Shastri course, not like just know the philosophy. No, the questions have to be answered, right? And mostly these questions only will come for a closed book. Okay, so next week, we'll try to finish chapter 4. Once chapter 4 is done, we'll have one more open book assessment, and then we also will discuss some closed book questions. Okay, next week. That is okay. So I need to speak about Gita Marathon, that is 3.LY Marathon, and also IDC course starting. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. So is there any questions? Nothing in the chat. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Sunita Mataji.
To do devotional service, we need gnana. But why is it called as byproduct or the son of children of devotional service, Mataji?
Yeah, very nice question. So actually, gnana can be in different grades, Mataji. So Krishna cannot be understood completely. No? Fully, nobody can understand Krishna completely. As he reveals to you, slowly, he reveals to you. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, there is not complete jnana. The jnana is of different grades. Like when you join the school, you are in first standard or in LKG, the jnana is less. But as we progress, the jnana keeps increasing. And then finally you get the degree or you get the certificate and you pass out. So similarly, when you come to devotional service, first there is little jnana that Krishna is Supreme Personality Godhead and Hare Krishna mantra have to be chanted. We don't know much about it. But as we advance, what happens, the real knowledge comes, the transcendental knowledge. So in different grades, the knowledge are. So initially, the knowledge is not full. But as we advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna will reveal to you. As you study the scriptures, the Guru will reveal to you. Right? So the real byproducts is Jnana and Vairagya for Bhakti Devi. So it is said that once Bhakti Devi was becoming older and older, and Jnana and Vairagya was becoming older and older. Bhakti Devi was young, and then she left this Mother Earth. I mean, the Bharat Varsha, and she went abroad. It said. So idam paritijya videsham gachati. She said, I leave this Bharat world and Bharat Bhumi, and I'm going to abroad. But that proved true by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada took Bhakti Devi to abroad. So, but then again, he brought them back. Actually, Prabhupada thought of settling in America because he established ISKCON in there. He never had a plan to come to India because that's what his Guru Maharaj said, no? And Prabhupada's like, anywhere you build a temple, that's Vrindavan. So Prabhupada built temples in America and he wanted to stay there. This is given in Leelamrita. He didn't want to come back. And he told all the disciples, I'm going to stay in America forever. always so happy. But the moment he said that, Krishna came to his dream and he said to Prabhupada, go to India. I want you to start temple in Vrindavan, Mayapur, and some places, some important places, and then you have to go. So next day, Prabhupada said to everyone, I'm leaving to India. And everyone's like, what, Prabhupada? Prabhupada's like, Krishna want me to go. Krishna want me to go. I'm here because of Krishna, and Krishna wanted me to go. That's why we have great centers now in ISKCON, Vrindavan, and Mayapur, and everywhere. That's like big centers of, even Mayapur is the headquarters, right? So for Krishna's desire, a pure devotee does it. Okay, Hare Krishna, I think we can end here.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you everyone for joining. Vancha kalpadru vaishya kripa sindhu ve prachapadinanam pavani pavishnu vena manam anand kodi vaishya.